Okay, we're back with another video. I'm not going to make this real long, but I'm going to go through some of the paints that I used to make this, just in case anybody's interested and see how this came along. This is kind of a up and down project because I knew when I bought Bucky Barnes, aka Captain America, that I don't know too much about. I just treated it as he's a Captain America, an evil Captain America. That's the way I was looking at it. For 10 bucks, I thought it was going to be a real fun, easy repaint, give him some guns and be done with it and be red and be simple. But then after I thought about it, I don't like Capcom versus Marvel, the actual video game, is probably not one of my favorite fighters. I kind of don't like it. It's all right. Would I put it in and play it with? I don't know. I have it. Capcom versus Infinite, whatever it's called. And I know there's a whole bunch of stuff that goes with that. I mean, there's some diehards for that game. That's one of the best fighting games. And that's not why I'm making this video. I'm making it because there's only one thing I do really love about that game is the Venom from Marvel vs. Capcom. That's why I'm talking about it briefly here. That I do love the blue version of Venom. Now, unfortunately, I'll get close-ups, but you really can't see it really on camera because I guess, you know, with the lights and everything, and the camera itself is not the best camera. I've been having troubles with this camera, so I can't really zoom in. I have to bring them closer. But anyway, there's definitely some muscle. You can see definition of muscle because of the colors beneath this blue that we'll get to here in a minute. But let's start out. Let's start out with what started all this was Captain America, a $10 figure from Ollie's, actually Bucky Barnes. I'm just gonna for now call him Captain America because I look at him that way. So what I did was I started out with a Vallejo black primer, which I always use. I love this. I love this for my go-to black primers. I coated them with that, and then after I did that, I went in with some detailed carmine from Wicked Colors. It's kind of a dark burgundy, purplish. I don't know. Weird. Like I said, I just wish these colors were true that are on camera. That, you know, I'm seeing here, but whatever, you guys get maybe the point. But yeah, so that was the base coat I used. Then after I did that, I was like, well, he looks too dark, and I wanted it, I wanted it simple. Both these figures, I wanted it simple because I want them coming out of the comics or out of the video game, really kind of like base colors, matte colors, and, you know, or vibrant like Venom here with the blue, but matte and kind of dull with Captain America here. But I went back in and I gave it like 3 coats of this red. I really had to pour on this red to make it where it's red. Unfortunately, it reminds me of Daredevil, which, whatever, I guess because of the suit, but it's okay. So I went in and I really did some, you know, over the top spraying down with this right here. Then after I was done that, my go-to dark color, black, and I love folk art, exception of the white. That's in one of the tutorials about these figures I did. The folk art so far, every other color except white, I really love and I really like using. This is of course a black licorice, but it's not really black, but it's great. I use it all the time. That's for gloves and the, you know, the boots and the A and the star. I'll get close here in a minute after I go through the paints. Then after that, I went in and I bought this just for this build, model color Vallejo, again, this leather brown. I did that with his utility belt because I love raw umber from Craft Smart, but it's too thick to dry brush. You need something like this if you really want a thin coat, you know, to dry brush with multiple layers but thin layers that won't clog up, you know, because it's the thicker acrylics don't go well. I tried it with the turtle a couple weeks ago. Then after I was done with that, I went in with always, again, that I can't stay away from, is gunmetal from Army Painter. This is fantastic. It's a great base for anything, for dry brush over black, and then put your primary color over top of this. It's great and it goes on well. I love this stuff. So that was for his canteen back here, and the dots I started with, but then I stopped with the dots, and then I went with the silver really to make the buttons kind of pop on his belt. So that's my go-to. This is always my go-to silver forever, and I never use any other silver. And then for the white here, like I said, mentioned a second ago, the white folk art I love, but this is way too thick for something that's this small. Now if it was a bigger piece and you could really water it down and give it several coats, and I do know white's kind of hard to get opaque right off the bat. It's got to be several light coats. I do know that. But this here, I'm going to go with some sort of other white. I don't know with who, with Vallejo. I don't know yet. The white from this company here, I do love Createch stuff, but the white also is way too thin in my opinion. I'm talking for brushing, not airbrushing. Airbrushing, I can use this. I can use, you know, Createch or whatever, but I'm talking about just for brushing. Outside of that, exception of getting closer to Captain America here, I think that's almost about it. If I forget, I'll do it. But these guns came from Action Force. Let's take these are cool, but let's take them out because they're just going to keep falling out like they always do. What I do with the Action Force guns is I just put a dark wash over this, a real heavy dark wash with Army Painter's dark wash. That's you know, it's just a dark wash. Any dark wash will do. A cheaper dark wash would work. Put it on there heavy, wipe it off, and you get that effect how it's like little, you know, kind of weathered up a little bit. Now the head sculpt, it kind of turned out pretty cool. I kept the eyeballs and I just put some dark around it so he looks a little more menacing. I kept my lines as straight as I could get them with what, you know, straight as I can get them with my hands. And the star as well, the flag on his stomach, black and white, just keeping them straight as possible. And up close here you can see the buttons and stuff in the utility belt. Left his gun that he came with in here and his knife that he came in here because I added some guns. I just wanted to add some guns. And then on the back here I used the, what is this? Yeah, olive green for his canteen. Where it only came down the sides here. I put the black licorice down the center and I put the gunmetal for the actual top of the canteen. Outside of that, a dry brush, and I do have tutorials for these figures separately. I'll put them up. They're already done. I probably don't really need to, but I'm going to put them up anyway just in case somebody wants to follow along the process of the build here. And I did try to do a technique I really don't do that I'm kind of glad I did. As you can see down here how dark he is with the shadowing. See, it's almost black right there. I kind of like it. It kind of looks like a cartoony, not so much shell shade, but it looks, I'm happy with it. I don't really do this, I don't use this method too much where I'm getting the light sources like they do in the miniatures. I'd like to do more of that, but overall it came out really clean. He's really cool looking. I think he's really menacing looking for a Captain America that's kind of evil, which I don't know. I know there's a red Captain America spinoff of some character called something Force or whatever. He's white and red that I didn't even know about, but I didn't do any, and I didn't do anything with the boots. I didn't do anything with the boots. I did, well, I mean, I did paint them. They're painted. I did paint it. This is a full repaint, but, and the gloves were black too, but I left them that way. I was going to do some dry brushing on top with some uniform blue just to make the wrinkles pop, but I thought, you know what, since I got to Venom, since we're speaking of Venom, since I got to Venom, let's put his, I know it's stupid, but let me put his bullets back in so he looks like he's ready to go do some damage. But I know it's dumb, but I kind of dig it. If he stands up, come on now, you stand up any other time. Now he won't stand up. For some reason, he does not want to stand up. He's aggravated. He doesn't want to talk. He doesn't want to talk about Venom. So here we go. That's the Captain America. Now come into Venom. I do have a tutorial, like I said, for both of these. Oh, before we move on, I did take. Let me take this out if it comes out. And that's in there. I did paint this black with licorice black. Get away from the blue because it's red, white, and blue. I did go black with that. Not that you guys, well, not that's a big deal, but it's a small little hint of doing something extra to make it look like it's in sync or whatever. I don't know. So now the Venom. The Venom is a little different. This is the movie Venom. Before we get to that, these here I made with hot glue and wire. I have a tutorial separate for that. I'm going to keep it separate because the Venom video, the tutorial for Venom video is a little bit longer than Captain America because that's the second part of Captain America, Evil Captain America. But now the Venom video is going to be about 28-30 minutes long. It's unfortunate. I know you guys, you know, you don't have to watch that one. I mean, I like long tutorials because I break them up or I have them one sitting depending on how interested I am, how things turn out. And just to learn from anybody, not just people that are really good or really bad or intermediate. I watch everybody. This is hot glue with some wire. Like I said, I'll put that video up. And these two symbiote pieces came with him. My daughter gave me this about 2 years ago, and he was sitting around back there, sitting on the shelf for a little while. And then I said, you know what? It's time to do it. When I did Captain America, Evil Captain America, I thought, who else? I was going to have them fighting, but I thought, you know what? No. This is like the new get up here. This is, the two villains, they match up. Okay, in some universe somewhere, there's an evil red Captain America, and there's a Marvel vs. Capcom Venom, and they're going to match up, and they're going to take over Spider-Man. Anyway, so now here, this one here was pretty interesting because I started out with a black, the same thing, Vallejo black primer, which is great. Then I went, and I was thinking about dry brushing. Let me just get this part out of the way so I don't bore you to death completely in the middle and jump all over the place. I was planning on using this just as a dry brush piece, no airbrush. So I didn't airbrush anything on here except the primer, which is in the tutorial. Then, so I started out with mixing Vallejo, Createx straight blue, bright blue, well it's not really bright, and detailed blue violet. This is a very dark purple. So I put them together and I thought I'm going to make that my base coat. Then I'm going to come in, put some cobalt on from Folk Art. It's just a nice blue cobalt. And then when I was in the store, I said to myself, well, I pulled up a picture of Marvel vs. Capcom Venom in blue suit, and this is the closest I got with that color, and I think it worked out really well. This is a great blue when it comes to that, or any other kind of custom for a comic book hero for blue. I mean, Clayman, blue Clayman. So what I was going to do was, I thought to myself, I'll go with the two colors, make them really dark, like I said with these two here, mix them together. Then I'll go over top of it, let that dry, then I'll go over top of it and hit it with some lighter airbrush with some cobalt blue. And then I thought after that, I was going to go in and put Clayman blue over top of it and just leave all the recesses that are there, like in his neck and stuff, and in his thighs. You probably can't see that well. Let's see here. You can see it better in person, but it's there. You can see it like in his neck, the darks. Only a little bit of the first coat comes through, not much, because then I said screw it. I'm going to put them straight cobalt. I'm going to be straight cobalt with it because the Venom is a very vibrant, bright character in Marvel vs. Capcom. And I went with cobalt, and I said, well, then I'll just dry brush over top of it with Clayman. Then I'll come in, I'll put dark recesses by hand with either pastel or a magic marker or paint inside the recesses of all the muscle definition. Then I got there and I said, no, I don't want to do that. After I got it to this point where I got it to the Clayman blue, I thought to myself, it looks fine. It's fine. I said, man, it works. It's fine. I don't need to do all that. I thought to myself, because you can see, and it's a little darker in person, like the back here. I'll show you back here. So you can see the recesses and the cracks in the muscles and all the definition. You can see them. Separation is perfect. You know, like back here, you can see. Now, like I said, camera's kind of deceiving here, but in person, it looks not 100% better, but at least 50% better than what you're seeing on the camera. So now let's get to the spider. I was excited to do it in one way, and one way I wasn't, and I was like, man, I got to put this spider now. It's one thing to do it on paper, you know, to draw something on paper and get a straight line and do it on paper. And I thought, man, well, here we go. And it's in the tutorial. It's kind of interesting if you want to check it out. I went in with some, I started with some of this just because, well, I started with a pencil, but we won't get into that. That's in the video if you want to see that. That's coming up. The matte, I thought, well, it's thinner. I'm going to go with the matte primer to find my outline, put in the spider because it's thin, and I can wipe it away easy, and I can make my line straight as possible with the primer, and then move on to the Folk Art matte. I'm not using this white again when it comes to this type of stuff, when I need to put in on a spider on something, or an emblem on something, or back here with Captain America with his flag being straight pure white, opaque white. This, maybe all whites are like that, but I don't know, but I'm going to find out. If I got to spend like $6 or $7 for a white, I'm going to do it. But anyway, Folk Art I'd love, but just not the white. Just not the white. So I went in, 3 coats after down the road, 3.5 coats down the road, I got it where I wanted it. Like I said, my lines aren't perfect, but at the same time I can use the excuse that he's a living symbiote. That means he's going to be, his skin's constantly going to be moving. Well, not his skin, but the symbiote. The symbiote's going to be constantly moving, but for what I have here, I think it's for the first time, I'll probably do another one, but it turned out okay. I enjoy it. It turned out fine. And I put the web slinging parts, you know, the white patches on his hands, I put those on there. They're on there. So this and the head sculpt I did with the white too as well. Let me see. I hope my camera's not blurring up. I need to get a new camera. I know I keep saying that. But how I did the teeth and how I did the mouth is also in that tutorial. All I did is go in with, again, with this, only in the mouth, I only use this right here. The Wicked Colors detailed camera, Camerine. Why they call it? Why do they name? Just name it dark. What's all the crazy names? I think it turned out pretty cool because it's kind of a blood dirty red, but also I did put a wash in here. I used War Paints dark wash. You can use any dark wash. I put wash around the if I can say wash right. I put wash around inside the gums and inside the top of his cheeks here, so it looks more organic and more lifelike, if you want to, so to speak. So it turned out pretty cool. So you can see in there, teeth aren't the best. This is the best sculpt for teeth, I think, for Venom, because they're too close together and they're kind of overlapping. So I did my best on that, and I put some gum line on top and then the white, actual white. Now, before we take off here and get it over with, I was going to come in and do a black line really all the way around the spider. I think that would make it pop, but at the same time, number one, I was afraid to mess it up. That's the biggest part. Number two, it's not like that in the video game. So we stuck to what it is. So anyway, this is my Venom and Captain America team up, the Ultimate Villains team up diorama. I'm not going to go too much into the street because it's simple and easy. I have a small tutorial that I'm going to probably put up, but it's basically black, taped off some colors, airbrushed them, put some cracks in it. This is just foam. It's pink foam. I'll have something with that, but that's not a big deal. I wasn't trying to make the diorama stand out so much. I wanted the characters to stand out more, and I wanted more symbiote. And if you don't have a 3D printer like me, and if you don't have any molds like me, and don't feel like making any molds like me, I kind of like, oh, don't get me wrong, I would love to have a 3D printer. I just don't have the patience for it. I gotta wait till they're completely user-friendly, and if they are, I don't know. And if they break down, it aggravate me when I'll throw it out the window. But this is crafted like with your hands. This is all made up with what you have available to you with hobby materials. I'm digging that kind of stuff right now. I want to move on. Yes, I do. I do want to move on to 3D printing. I kind of want to get away from the figures and start getting my own 3D printing. Whoever I want to paint, I can paint instead of trying to worry about something's on sale, or if I want to pick it up, do I want to paint it? Do I want to pay 30 bucks now? But anyway, that's another video maybe. But here we go. This is my Captain America and Venom duo right there. Thanks guys for watching. Now the tutorials are coming up for these, so if you want to check them out, that'd be cool. If not, that's cool too, but if you check this one out, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.